What's going on?
Hey,
Hey!
dude, we finally can do this.
It's been I don't know, in quarantine
In
years,
quarantine time, it's been a few years.
I'm long in the tooth now, but we've done it.
Yeah, for those of you that don't know, Tanner and I have been trying to schedule this for 2 months, and even though in the pandemic I kind of have more time than ever, I also don't somehow.
Yeah, it's true though. It's true. I feel like everyone's like wanting to take this time to like have meetings and like Zoom. How many what's your average Zoom calls a day? Is it like in the double digits?
I've brought it down since I feel like at the beginning it was like really popping off. I've brought it down now. Now it's not happening all the time. Although I'm on this Twitch series right now. It's this sci-fi like soap opera Twitch show that is all done through Zoom, and like we live stream the episodes, and the season is based like in the pandemic, so we're all like Zooming from home.
Very cool. Yeah, it's called Artificial, right? Is that
Yes.
right? Yeah. So how did that come to be? Was that an idea? I mean, I feel like that was born out of the pandemic. Or?
No, this is their third season. So
I guess that's right. Okay, yeah.
Yes, so this is my first season on it, but they've done 2 seasons already, and it was a live stream show. Is the premise is that they're using Twitch to tell a narrative about like this AI, and the audience gets to choose the direction of the story. So they've done 2 seasons, but like the actors would be together doing the live stream. Now they created this season to be able to be all of us over Zoom in the pandemic.
Interesting. It's cool that everything's adapting now, and a show like that is like not really affected by what's going on because of the parameters, which is kind of amazing.
Exactly. It's an amazing thing that they're doing. Like this medium, they're the first to use it like this, and it's really cool. I auditioned over Zoom. It was my first Zoom audition, and I do it all from like my room. I literally do it here. Like it's so bizarre.
Do you think it's going to go back? Like when this is all said and done, do you think we're going to return to normal, or are we going to see the effects from this going forward? Do you think people? I think people are more likely to do virtual stuff now. Maybe have an interview guest on virtually than have someone in the studio. I feel like there will be some, lasting effects from this.
I kind of liked the Zoom audition because a lot of us have been auditioning over tape for years. Like we'll send in our own self-tape as opposed to be in person. But I actually really liked the Zoom audition because it's like it saves the commute. You're at home, you're comfortable, but you're still able to like interact with the casting director and the producer. So I like that. I wouldn't mind that staying around. And we'll see. I don't know, man. I don't know what the world is gonna look like. Like, I don't know, dude. I don't know anything.
Oh man. Well, shout out to everyone watching. We have people from Brazil and everybody.
Hi, people
all over the world. You have been doing a lot of these lives though. I see you've been connecting with people. It must be kind of cool to like finally, I feel like this industry is really, fast paced, fast moving, but to finally kind of put everything on pause and like really connect with people. And you've been saying a lot of amazing things. I feel like you've really taken some time to kind of compile your thoughts through all this.
Yeah, I'm trapped here with my thoughts, Tanner.
Yeah.
So I have to express them sometimes because there's a lot of them. It's been cool actually. Taking a step back and actually needing the socialization. So coming on IGTV or IG Live a couple times a week, to like connect with people and share more and open myself up more has been actually really cool. Yeah.
And also too, I think a lot of people know you from Neds Declassified School Survival Guide, and they're used to getting advice and tips from you. Have you found that people have turned to you in these trying times?
Yes. It's such a weird thing, man. So you act, you audition for anything. I would take any role. I'll play a murderer. I don't care. I'll play anything. But I happen to book this role of Ned, who is a kid who truly wants to help everybody and remind everyone, like, you're not as alone as you think you are, and we're going to get through it together. And as I've grown up, like, that's really what I'm about. And it's such a strange thing to be in this place for people where they already look to me for advice and they already put me in that place. So a few years ago, I started asking myself, well, like, all right, there's a responsibility in that. Like, if people want to look to me for that, like, what do I want to say? And that's when I created, it's on pause for the foreseeable future now, but that's when I do this life survival guide talk at colleges. So I'll go to a college and I'll talk to like a couple hundred kids about life and growing up and break down some myths around being an actor and what fame does to you. And like, I kind of like started to own all right, if you're going to be looking to me for advice, then I'm going to tell you some shit.
Yeah. Well, what you have? I know we don't have the time to do it now, but if you had to like really like one key message that you feel like people should really have with them right now during this time, what's something maybe you've noticed people need to do more of, or what's like one of the big ones?
I mean, a big thing as we grow up that I like to remind people, and I have to painfully remind myself every day, is that you have to be 100% responsible for your own life and in ownership of it. That doesn't mean things aren't going to come your way that are out of your control. That doesn't mean chaos isn't going to come, like a global pandemic that's going to change your entire life. Like, there are things that are out of your control, but no matter what, you still got to wake up. And the more you grow up, the more adult you become. It's like, nobody's going to fix your problems for you. If there's something that is not working in your life, it literally will not change until you take ownership for, I need to confront this thing, and I need to start taking steps to change this thing, and I need to fucking start working to change this thing that I don't want. And, you know, as kids, we can kind of get away with some stuff. As teenagers, life gives us some leeway. And, like, you know, if we're in college, like, teachers will hold us accountable. But when we're adults, like, you got to take ownership for all of it. And that's one of like the biggest things that I drive home with people.
Amazing. Yeah. Golden Martian said Ned has grown so gratefully.
So gratefully.
Yeah. Kenzie, you got a great head on your shoulders. Yeah, it's true. You're very wise, man. I gotta say, I feel like I'm gonna, like, if you wrote a book on like how to live life, I would follow that, man.
I will write that book one day. I'm not there yet because my 20s are still kind of kicking my ass. I'm 29. I'm at the end of my 20s, and they're still kicking my ass in all the ways that I need to learn. So I'll write the book in my 30s. Okay.
What if someone came to you and said they want to bring it back? They want to do like a declassified, you know, life survival guide for a more adult audience. Has that ever been discussed? Has that ever been thrown around?
Yeah, I'm trying to bring it back.
Yeah, we'll do it. Come on, let's get it going.
So Scott Fellows and I, who created Neds, we started talking last year, actually. We started talking last fall about that very thing, that I'm like, dude, every single day I get a message from somebody saying, yo, where's the Neds Adulting Survival Guide? Because I'm struggling out here. And I know people are kind of half kidding, but I know they're not. Like, I know they mean it, because I know what it's like to go through your 20s and just like be like, what is this life? How do I survive? So I started talking to him about that, of like, there's actually a need out there for us to have like an adult survival guide 100%. And try and help people. And Scott's so wise and he's so good at it. And so we've been talking about trying to get it going, and we were about to be going into meetings when the pandemic hit. So like, it's kind of slowed down some, but my goal is to bring it back. And it can't be on Nickelodeon. It has to be for an adult audience. We have to talk about what adults are really dealing with, which is like, you know, relationships and drinking and sex and taxes and like all the real shit.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like maybe this is a kind of a blessing that these things have happened, because more people have turned to you in this time. So maybe there will be a greater demand for it on the other side. So maybe it'll play out in your favor. Somebody asked if you're actually 91 years old, which I thought was pretty funny. Because
I am not 91 years old. I was born in 91. Makes me 29.
Okay, because I feel like you have the wisdom of a 91-year-old. So we'll give you that.
Listen, but I want to live a long life. I would love to get to 91.
Now, we have a lot of people watching, and people have questions for Devon. You can submit them as a question box at the bottom. That way I don't miss anything. But we talked about one of your roles. I thought we'd play a little game called Roll Call to see if you can remember the role you had in the project.
Okay.
The name of the character is what we're going for, okay? Okay. Franklin and Bash. Well,
don't remember the name.
What? According to IMDb, it was Josh Taylor. Sound familiar?
That sounds right.
Okay. That sounds right. We're going to go dig a little deeper. Recipe for Disaster.
Was it Max?
Yeah. Max Corda.
Dude, Recipe for Disaster was a movie I booked my first pilot season in LA from Atlanta. So that was the pilot season before I booked Neds. It was the first project I booked in LA. Yeah.
Cool.
I was 11 years old.
Okay, let's keep digging deeper. Christmas in Paradise.
Oh, fuck. I forget.
It's like the nice, like standard guy name.
Michael.
What? There's a superhero. One of them plays a superhero. Another one plays. Oh, what was that?
Chris?
Chris? Yeah, Chris.
Christmas in Paradise. I was Chris. Yeah, we shot.
You were Chris, dude.
It's like I remember the projects. I just don't remember my character.
Okay, and lastly, this is like towards the bottom of the list here. I don't know. This might be one of the first ones. We Were Soldiers.
Oh, what? Who did I play? I played a real person. Like that movie's based on real life.
Yeah.
Who did I play? Colin? No.
No, it's not. No. Colin. I don't know. I mean,
no. What was
a very classic name for maybe the time?
No, I can't. What is it? What is it? Tell me.
Steve
Moore.
Steve Moore.
Steve
There's
Moore.
Steve Moore.
Yeah.
See?
That movie, I booked in Atlanta because they were casting it out of Atlanta. It was a small role, but that was a big movie. Mel Gibson played my dad. And it was because of that movie that I ever came to LA at all to audition. It was like that movie had my agents be like, well, go to LA and audition. And that movie was wild. Vietnam War movie based on all these real people. So fucking intense.
Where did you shoot? Like, where were you?
We shot in Fort Benning, Georgia. So we shot at this fort.
Oh, you shot. Okay, you did shoot. Oh, wow. Yeah. Dude, that's pretty amazing. Like, you were fairly, like, you knew the whole scene too. That must have been like overwhelming and completely.
So new. It was overwhelming, but it was also like it gave me like a false sense of what my career would be. Like it was like the first thing I booked, and it's like Mel Gibson and Greg Kinnear and Randall Wallace directing, who like wrote Braveheart, and like it's just like this massive experience, and I'm like, yeah, this feels right.
And you're like, I'm gonna be Batman. I'm gonna be a Jedi. I'm gonna
exactly.
Be like, boom.
Exactly.
That's amazing. And you moved, so that's really cool that you like. That's what brought you to LA. Like, do you go back and revisit projects? Like, do you ever, if you're flipping through the channels and you see like We Were Soldiers pop up, do you watch it?
If it's on, for sure. If I see it on, I'll check it out. I rarely will choose it on streaming, but occasionally, yeah, I'll watch my stuff. And like We Were Soldiers is a great film, so I would watch that just for the movie. I'm barely in it, and just to laugh at like my little chubby cheeks. But like there's some films that I watch of mine to like just like work on my acting. Like I'm not even enjoying it. I'm watching it to like do my work. And then some I guess I enjoy. I haven't watched a Neds episode in like 12 years, 13 years. I would love to see Neds again.
It's got to be strange though, to like, because it's a very important time in a young you's life as you're developing and changing, and it was all captured on camera.
Yeah.
So is that like, how do you feel about that? That everyone's kind of watched you go through that magic moment.
It's weird. I don't know, man. It's perfect. Like I was the age I was on the show, and like, yeah, I like went through puberty on the show, and like, I don't know. Like you see in the first season, because Lindsay, who played Mose, was 2 years older than me. So like. Yeah. You'll see in the first season, I'm at her shoulder, like I'm here on her, and then by the third season, I'm like her height.
It happens. All right, man. Let's hit to some fan questions.
Yeah,
so
cool.
Let's. Okay. Well, we just had this question, but maybe we could have a more specific story. But Jenny wants to know: do you remember working with Mel Gibson? So is there like an actual, maybe a specific moment that you remember from set?
No, for sure. So my experience with Mel Gibson was fucking incredible. Like truly, he was so good to everybody on set. We were small. The kids, we were playing his kids, but we were a small role on that movie. We're just like in these little things, and he would sit with us kids at lunch any day we were on set. He would do little like magic shows for us. He would play. I would be in the hotel room, but like my mom and dad, like he would like play pool in the hotel bar with people, and. Nice. And he was incredibly generous and like great to work with. And it always saddens me to see the chaos that he finds himself in later in life. But my experience with him was nothing but like so grateful. And he was such a big star, and he was so cool to all of us.
That's very cool. That's good. Zay wants to know how old you were when you played in the Neds. When you played Neds.
Neds, I started when I was 12, and it ended when I was 15.
Okay. All right. Cool. We got more questions. Maybe a personal question, general question, but when is your birthday?
My birthday is March 8th.
Okay. There you go. So we can direct all birthday cards to, we'll post the address later.
Yeah, exactly.
This is a great question. I feel like, yeah, being, going back and watching your work like you're talking about and really working on yourself. Great question from Golden Martian. Do you consider yourself a perfectionist? Do you really like?
I think my alarm's going to keep going off and I can't, I can only snooze it. I can't turn it off while we're live. It's okay. Every 9 minutes it's going to go off.
A couple more questions.
But,
okay.
No, it's perfect. I think I have a good relationship with my perfectionism. And I think if you're an artist in any way, some part of you is a perfectionist. Like there's some part of you that is striving for perfect. However, you have to know that that's an unattainable goal and that life is messy and sometimes you just got to put stuff out. So I'm in a good relationship with my perfectionism, but I don't let it dictate my life. But yeah, you got to strive for greatness.
Yeah, well, Katie at the bottom, actually, great question. How do you learn to deal, or how did you learn to deal with social media? I feel like that's maybe lucky that you went through this, as a young actor without social media. I feel like, is that a bit of a blessing?
Our show missed social media by a year.
Yeah.
When Twitter blew up was the year our show ended.
Yeah.
And it's both a blessing and a curse because the social media numbers, as far as my acting industry career game, matter to people. It's this quantifiable number that gets you jobs, and I missed it. So everybody else on shows around me had these huge million followings, and I didn't. Even though our show was big, we just missed the bubble of it. But that is a blessing too, because I didn't have this crazy access that people have to your life and you. And I was able to be a teenager and make mistakes and experiment and live my life and not be so consumed by this machine. And I think all of us, famous or not, have to deal with the fact that this phone and these apps were designed specifically to hijack our brains. Straight up, they were designed to get hooks in our brains that we can't control well. These dopamine traps, right? And I know I'm fully addicted to it. I find myself scrolling and I'm not even doing anything. I'm just wasting time looking for dopamine. So we all have to deal with the fact that these apps are addicting and are probably causing a lot of anxiety and stress in our lives without us even realizing it.
Yeah, I think it's a dangerous thing right now to be maybe stuck at home, especially with all you have is your phone. Because I know people have been taking some deep dives into social. I've actually got the video a few times on TikTok saying hey man, maybe you should take a break. I've got that far. It's not it's something to be proud of. So
yeah, man. People
need to and also the living for social media too, which I find people really do. Which I think maybe in a way I don't know, people are maybe more vulnerable now because we're all in this situation together. So hopefully on the other side of it, people don't feel that pressure to look a certain way or act a certain way. It's I don't know, we're all sitting in our pajamas. Some of us haven't showered in days, weeks.
Yeah, I stink right now.
Yeah, dude, look at this. This is a humid day.
Yeah, my hair's long as shit, man.
Oh,
where are you based, man?
I'm out of Toronto, yeah.
Cool.
So, yeah, it's I don't know, man. Every other people that got their hair cut, I'm just what am I going to do? I'm just live your life. You? Nothing? You let it go. Yeah, okay.
I'm just letting it go. I don't know. Going to a hair salon doesn't really feel like the best thing to do. And I've kind of just now I'm just curious how long I can let it go.
Oh, yeah. Plus, they're making that Aquaman sequel eventually. So
maybe I can get in there, man.
Dude, you've got this. I saw a question scroll by about your music. I know you just had an EP, Chapter 1. When did that just, let's talk about that for a moment.
Yeah, so Chapter 1 was actually crowdfunded through an Indiegogo campaign, so that was cool. It was a mix of fans and friends who funded this EP for me. But I've had it for a couple of years, and at the beginning of 2020, I was finally ready to plan the release of it. So I mapped out all right, my first single is going to come out in March, and then April, and then I'll release the EP at the end of April. And that was before the pandemic hit, but I had already kind of had it planned. So when the pandemic hit and we were all locked down, I'm wow, I guess I'm releasing this EP during a pandemic. And it's kind of perfect because it's 5 songs meant to like help you get back to center and help like remind yourself that you can keep going even when it's hard. So it's kind of a good EP to have right now. And yeah, it's been great, man. It's been great releasing it.
I mean, we need more music in our lives now. This is good. People do you find that like people are maybe more listening to your music more, watching your stuff more just because of their
because we're all at home with kind of less life distraction. We're more like looking online for stuff to make us feel better. And yeah, I found for sure that like people are more engaged right now, just like I'm more engaged online right now.
Yeah, that's 100% true. Let's do a couple more questions.
Yeah.
There's one about your well, first of all, I love you from Italy, from Christina, that I see in the questions here. But favorite place that you've visited? This is we can't travel right now. We're kind of stuck. Do you find yourself imagining you were somewhere else?
Yes, I miss traveling. It's like I can still go on road trips, which are some of my favorite things to do. But favorite place I've visited, probably Mexico, man. I've been to a lot of different places in Mexico, but last year I was in a city called San Luis Potosí, and it was so much fun, man. I was there with like one of my best friends, and in the historical center, it's like this pre-colonial town. Like a lot of the churches were built in like the 1600s and 1700s, and I just love Mexico, the people, the vibe. I just have so much fun every time I'm there. And yeah, so San Luis Potosí was cool. Sayulita, Mexico is a really great place.
Love Sayulita. Yeah, it's a great place.
Yeah, a lot of Canadians down there and Americans.
There is? Yeah, it's a great little, like, kind of, like, not too touristy, but the buses do come in, and then it kind of gets, like, a little overrun. But it's a cool spot.
It's a cool spot. Yeah, I love it down there. I love people call America the land of the free. Mexico is the land of the free. You can do whatever the fuck you want in Mexico. You could do anything you want, and no one's going to stop you. It's truly free.
I mean, if we could get to Mexico, right? You can't. Yeah, you're stuck, right? Because I think Canadians can travel to Europe now, but I don't know what's the situation.
Yeah, you guys can do things. I think we're stuck for a long time because people in this country are not going to figure it out.
Hey, man, they got to have their pool parties. Come on.
That's it. Americans just want to have fun and pretend problems don't exist if it's uncomfortable.
And you've taken away your freedoms when you have to wear a mask, right? So that's, I mean,
absurd.
I've seen the protests.
I live in an absurd hell.
And speaking of which, before let's end on this question. This is a great one here from Ajax in the comments. Have you learned anything during quarantine to take up your time? I know some people are learning new skills, picking up an instrument. Have you been working on anything in particular?
So I'm not necessarily learning anything new right now, but the pandemic forced me to make some changes that I had been thinking about for a long time, including like I had been thinking about launching a Patreon for like a long time. Nice. And the pandemic kind of forced it to happen. So it's kind of cool in some ways. Like the pandemic like catalyzed a lot of change that I had been thinking about for a long time, and now it was kind of forced. So yeah, I've been doing Patreon for 3 months, and that's one of my favorite communities and things that I'm building and creating right now. There's exclusive music on there. I do live streams twice a week, and we just like, there's a really cool community where we're talking about life and kind of supporting each other through this insanity that we find ourselves in.
That's 100% true. And before we wrap up, I'm doing this with everybody. I mentioned it maybe earlier on in the message, but it's been a couple months, like we said. So if you're they might be putting you on the spot here, but I've been ending with a little game of at-home show and tell. What you got?
I'll show you guys a couple things, okay?
Okay.
I'll show you a few things. Alarm going off. Hold on one second.
Okay. Greetings from Peru, Dominican Republic. So what's up?
I just know this is fun for people. These are my Kids' Choice Awards from Europe.
Nice.
I never won a U.S. Kids' Choice Award because you guys never voted for me. But no, I'm just kidding. But these are my German Kids' Choice Award and my Italian Kids' Choice Award. So people love that stuff, and they're kaleidoscopes, which is pretty cool.
Amazing.
Yeah. So that's pretty righteous. And then I'll show you something else. I'll show you this. So this came to me during the pandemic. A lovely lady on social media named Mary Shuttlesworth said, "Hey, Devon, I do watercolors of people's pets. Do you want to send me a photo of your cat and I'll do a watercolor of him?" And I was like, absolutely. And she painted my cat.
That's amazing.
And like, that's not a random cat. Like, she like captured his essence. That's my guy. So
that's so great.
So her handle is MGS Designs. I'll like put her up on my story today for any of you who saw this. If you want a dope watercolor of your cat, like, you can send her a photo, and I don't know what she charges, but it's so worth it. It's so nice.
I gotta get me some. Yeah, I gotta get one of those. This is why I have this poster up, because it kind of looks like my dog, so that's why.
You weren't in this movie?
No, unfortunately I was not in Far From Home. I wish I would have been. I mean, he went on to do like Swim Fan and a bunch of other great stuff.
Oh,
so.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, sadly.
I love that you have that because it looks like your dog. You know, you could get a photo of your dog up there.
I had a poster frame to fill, so I was like, come on, I gotta. It fits the dimensions. I feel like, I don't know, would it be? I feel like I want to take this photo with me and my dog in that same look.
Perfect. That's the move.
I'm gonna do that. I'm doing that later today. I'm gonna post it. So
that's the move.
Okay.
Just like make the poster yourself.
Yeah, and looking off in the distance with my mouth subtly open like that. Yeah, okay, I'm working on it. Devon, buddy, thank you so much, man. And shout out to everyone watching. Like commenting from all over the world. So thanks for everyone for tuning in. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for being here, Tanner. Thanks for doing this and entertaining people during this quarantine, during this crazy pandemic time. And I'm so glad we finally got it scheduled, man. It's perfect.
Yeah, and keep up the good work, man. You're inspiring so many people and sharing so much love and putting so much positive stuff out there, which is what we need. So keep opening people's minds and keep it up, buddy.
Thank you. You too.
And then I expect a walk-on when Neds comes back, okay?
Okay. We'll see. There's a long line, but just get back to me.
Great. We'll talk. Thanks, pal.
See you, man.
See you later. Bye.
Bye.